Is this a letter? Upend the ancient sea and return to old ground. It's a letter for Dan Heng, but who is it from? I should ask the conductor.
Trailblazer, do you need help with something? Pom-Pom's been cleaning up this whole time and didn't see any letters. What? Don't scare Pom-Pom like that! Why are there always strange things sneaking onto our train? Pom-Pom is going to upgrade the security level around here. What does the letter say? It looks like an invitation. Who could have sent it? Does Dan Heng have any friends on the Law Fu? If Pom-Pom remembers correctly, he said he was exiled from there, right?
Unlikely. If the general sent the letter, he would have signed it.
Why don't you show Dan Heng the letter? You know where to find him.
Huh? What is it? Do you need something? There's no signature. And it doesn't mention a time or place. Looks like whoever sent this expects me to remember. Unfortunately, I'm going to disappoint them. Thanks, but I don't even know where to start. Let me hold on to the letter. Anything related to Dan Feng's past should be handled with care. Just as I thought, there was more than met the eye. Letting her leave first was a wise choice. I can't put her in danger again because of this. But if he didn't send the letter, then who did? Maybe I should make a trip to the seat of divine foresight. I need to ask Yuan about the Stellaron hunters.
After all this time away from the Luofu, the seat of divine foresight has only become more hostile. It's quite reassuring. Relax. You needn't be so cautious, young man. I'm just reminiscing about the old days. However, I never thought Yuan would send you to accompany me. It would seem our fates are intertwined.
Huh? I've got my work cut out for me today. Well, if it isn't Dan Heng.
Greetings. I need to speak to the general about something.
Looking for compensation for the injuries I gave you? I accept full responsibility. They can deduct my next 100 years' salary if they like.
The Cloud Knights were doing their duty. I'm here to ask the general about the Stellaron hunters.
You came at a bad time. The general is busy with urgent work. You probably won't be able to meet with him today. But he did leave a message. Dan Heng, do you recognize the person on the steps?
No. If the general isn't available, I'll come back another day.
You don't remember her? I see. I suppose the memories of your previous life really were wiped clean after the rebirth. That is Jingliu, the previous sword champion of the Xianzhou Luofu. She was the closest friend of Imbibitor Lune, your previous incarnation. She was also the general's master. According to records of wars past, her blade has slain countless denizens of abundance. Not even the feather guards of the Wingweaver, the father wolf of the Borazon, or the gigantic mecha beast could withstand a single strike from her. She's a renowned legend. However, those are ancient stories. It's a shame that even a hero like her wasn't able to break free of Mara. It is said that in the end, Jingliu lost her sanity and slaughtered anyone in sight. She was deemed a criminal and fled to outer worlds. With her powers, you'd think there would be no one capable of bringing her in. For some reason, she arrived on the Luofu with a suspect disguised as a traveling merchant and said she wanted to turn herself in. Her surrender came with one condition: that she be allowed a day of freedom before the trial. She wanted to travel to Scale Gorge Waterscape and meet with her old friends one last time. I can't believe Yuan actually agreed. Before he left, he ordered us to accompany Jingliu during her last day on the Luofu. We're hosting an honored guest. We're escorting a criminal.
Imbibitor Lune, you're here. Since you traveled all this way, why don't you come and talk with me? Or should I call you by your name in this lifetime? Dan Heng. When I left the Xianzhou, I heard they took away your scales and horns, forced you into a hatching rebirth, and detained you in the shackling prison. I thought Imbibitor Lune had been wiped from this world. But then I returned to the Luofu and watched as you parted the sea. After all these years, it was a magnificent sight to behold.
The life of Imbibitor Lune ended. I stand before you, a completely different person.
I understand. The sins of a past life should be forgiven after rebirth. Now you are a nameless, traveling across the galaxy. But can anyone really bid farewell to their past? If my guess is correct, the preceptors were unwilling to allow the Ichor line to end, and hoped for the Imbibiter Lunay's resurrection. That is why they tampered with the molting rebirth and turned you into what you are now.
You're not here to reminisce on old times. Tell me why you're here.
You didn't hear? That Vidyadhara girl explained it clear as day. I returned to the Luofu so I could surrender myself to the Alliance and atone for my sins. I did, however, have one request before the trial. I asked to be given a single day to go and see old friends, and to fulfill promises I made long ago. Jing Yuan has always been an understanding person. He heard that you would be coming and agreed to my request.
So, you're the one that mailed the letter to the Express.
That's right.
The sea's depths conceal no stone, and dragons' breaths reveal the moon. The scenery of Scale Gorge Waterscape is truly as magnificent as the poems describe. But as a suspect, shouldn't I be bound and interrogated in the shackling prison? Is it really appropriate to bring me to a place like this, General?
Holding you in the shackling prison would be more trouble than it's worth. For security purposes, we will be performing your trial here.
For security purposes? I suppose it's not my security you're talking about.
The Stellaron's descent, the Ambrosial Arbor's resurrection, the Destruction Emanator's impersonation of the Amicassator. According to the Skyfaring Commission's investigations, you arrived on the Luofu with a group of merchants, but didn't make a single trade during your stay. Your departure coincided with the day the calamities took place. You took advantage of the chaos to sneak into the shackling prison, but seemingly took no course of action. Now you claim that you are responsible for the Stellaron crisis and wish to surrender yourself. Your behavior truly is puzzling. I can't seem to piece together your motive.
I was asked to deliver a token in my capacity as a traveling merchant. I knew nothing of its significance. I admit I did have my own agenda for entering the shackling prison, but in the end, I found that the Luofu did not possess what I was looking for. It is through fear of punishment that I am choosing to surrender. The galaxy is a vast place, but I am merely a wanderer. It would be silly of me to think that I could outrun the Alliance.
Merely a wanderer. You're too modest, Luocha. Do I need to remind you of your actions at the Eternity Fortress and the Shroud Veil Star Zone? Or must I utter that tongue twister of a name?
Well, they don't call you the Divine Foresight for nothing, General.
You flatter me. Fortunately, I did my research, or this conversation would have been quite dry.
Seeing that you sense something is amiss, are you looking to defend me and clear my name of suspicion?
That is beyond my control. Attempting to undermine the Alliance is a grave crime. According to protocol, you are to be held on the Xianzhou Shuling for a joint trial before the 10 Lords Commission and the 7 Arbiter Generals. However, at present, you have the opportunity to enjoy the beautiful scenery of Scale Gorge Waterscape. It will be the last view of the Luofu you ever lay eyes on.
She told me that the High Cloud Quintet once gathered and feasted here hundreds of years ago. The unparalleled sword techniques of your master, the mesmerizing cloud hymn magic of Imbibitor Lunae Dan Feng, the artful piloting skills of Baiheng, the divine weapons crafted by the Juming artisan Yingxing, and the unmatched stratagem of the general. The five of you vanquished evil from the world, creating legendary tales in your wake. Unfortunately, nothing lasts forever, and the High Cloud Quintet disbanded as each of you went your separate ways. You removed me from the shackling prison and decided to interrogate me here. But not for security purposes. You wish to discuss things that shouldn't be overheard. You wish to discuss the one person you've avoided mentioning up to now. Your master, Jingliu.
We can head out now. I would like to visit a few places from my memories, enjoy a glass of wine, and reminisce about the good times.
Have you mistaken yourself for a tourist?
I would make a wonderful tourist. Lower your guard, young man. I have already surrendered myself to the Alliance, and I will keep my word. Besides, your general has already agreed to my request. Imbibitor Lunae, you must accompany me. I won't take no for an answer. Regardless of whether you're still interested in your previous life, accepting my letter means that you've accepted my invitation.
Lead the way.
Where should we start? Should we go to Stargazer Navalia first, or to the Artisanship Commission? So many memories are swirling inside my head. I can't get a grasp on any of them. When the people of the Xianzhou live to be more than 1,000 years old, each day is like carrying the weight of a mountain through an interminable maze.
How hard is it to choose a destination? We're going to Stargazer Navalia. Problem solved.
The young are the antidote. Stargazer Navalia it is.
If it's star skiffs you wanted to see, we could have headed to the Jade Gate. Why did we come all the way here?
Young man, have you ever heard of Baiheng, the Foxian pilot?
Baiheng. I think I've seen that name somewhere before.
Let the noble High Elder drown the enemies in rain. We just need a watch from the sky, I presume?
Imbibitor Lunae, if memories are returning to you, share them.
I think she was one of Imbibitor Lunae's comrades.
She was a comrade and friend to both Imbibitor Lunae and all of us. Well, that's all in the past now. The reason we came to Stargazer Navalia is because I wanted to pay tribute to her here.
Huh? You mean the Foxian soul-soothing ceremony?
Yes, the sending off of a star skiff. It represents the voyage of the deceased into the stars. Due to circumstances beyond my control, I never had the chance to bid farewell to her. It is something I have regretted to this day. As for procuring a star skiff, I know they can be manufactured here, but I know nothing of the process.
I see. Follow me. I don't know anything about manufacturing star skiffs either. Careful. There's still Stellaron spirits lurking around.
No need to worry about the two of us.
Who goes there?
We've arrived. All ship production in Stargazer Navalia starts here. Just enter the command into the device. The vessel used to cultivate starskiff seeds will be activated, and a ship will appear in the skyport soon after. I remember now. I've seen Baiheng's name in books before.
You like to read? I couldn't tell.
Hey, I don't read much, but the general forced me to finish a bunch of ancient volumes during my training. I remember one called Views of the Universe from a Starskiff. The author's name was Baiheng.
That's right. Baiheng was the one who wrote that travelogue.
It was actually really interesting. 90% of it was about starskiff crashes on different worlds and dangerous situations. It also had records of local species and ecosystems. I remember thinking, how could an ace pilot crash land her starskiff so many times? Then I realized that every time, she made the best of the situation and got back alive. Her luck really was out of this world.
Indeed. Her luck always astonished us. Whenever she piloted a mission, you could almost guarantee a narrow escape from the jaws of some abundance behemoth, or a miraculous return from behind enemy lines. Very few star skiffs she piloted were able to return to port in one piece. The folks at the Skyfaring Commission secretly referred to her as the Star Skiff Killer. She also possessed an uncanny ability to predict future events, inauspicious ones at least. Every ill omen that came out of her mouth would sure enough come true. Very few Cloud Knights had the courage to accompany her on missions. However, when it came to surviving, her fortunes were incredible. Even in the worst situations imaginable, she was always able to turn the tide. Luck is a type of strength, after all. I hope that this ship, built for the Star Skiff Killer, will also be able to return to the stars.
Ha! That'll do it. The Starskiff assembly line has been activated. The Starskiff will take shape and enter the skyport. Let's go wait for it there. It won't be long.
Thank you, young man.
See? The Starskiff is complete!
After being away from the Luocha for so long, I can finally say farewell to you.
So, what happened to Baiheng in the end?
In the end, I do not think the details are necessary. We are here today to commemorate her. In Bybiter Lunae, do you still remember the battle against Shuhu?
The Abundance Emanator, Shuhu, rallied a great army and attacked the Alliance. I read about it in the Shackling prison.
You seem to be interested in learning about your past life. Still, all of that was erased. After Shuhu attacked the borders, he disappeared without a trace. There are no records of his remains either. Let me refresh your memory. During that battle, Baiheng, being the headstrong girl that she was, managed to exhaust the luck that was bestowed upon her by the Rainbow Arbiter. She charged ahead and shattered the enemy's defenses, allowing the Xianzhou soldiers to break through Shuhu's sanguinary abyss and awaken you from your dragon's delirium. She was not able to walk out of that fight. We all shoulder a debt that we will never be able to repay. For the Cloud Knights, giving up one's life on the battlefield is an honor. But that wasn't something you believed in. Imbibitor Lunay, you couldn't accept that Baiheng was gone. Instead of leaving her to eternal rest, you decided to... You made a mistake that can never be undone. There is no need to respond, Imbibitor Lunay. Your answer is no longer important. And now, I will send off this star skiff. Baiheng, I've brought your flagon. This was a gift handmade by him, though he never got the chance to give it to you in person. I'm sorry it took so long for me to find it. Only by bringing it to you will my nightmares be calmed. I will fulfill what you asked of me. I will keep my word, even if it requires me to cut down the stars in the sky. Let's go. The Artisanship Commission is next. Since the Arbor's resurrection, the land has been crawling with abominations. Even the Artisanship Commission's prized creation furnace is hanging on by a thread.
The crisis happened too suddenly. All the craftsmen and apprentices fled. Only a single master craftsman was left to hold the line until reinforcements arrived. That's how the creation furnace was saved.
Interesting. Stubborn beyond valuing his own life. That reminds me of an extremely arrogant acquaintance. If he were to see the chaos of the Artisanship Commission today, he would burst into laughter at the Xianzhou's incompetence.
What's that supposed to mean? What's wrong with saving your own life and waiting for the Cloud Knights to arrive?
And yet where were the Cloud Knights when danger was at the door? From what I heard, it was a group of Outworlders that came to the rescue.
The Luocha's delves are big places. Besides, some of the troops were deployed to the Yanqing's campaign. The Cloud Knights were spread thin. It was impossible to guard everywhere at once.
Young man, why don't we continue our previous contest? Show me whether the sword techniques you are so proud of have improved.
You just want me to do all the work. You think I'm gonna grant endless requests for a criminal?
You go on ahead this time. We'll meet up at the creation furnace.
Why did you send him away?
It is of no importance. But you and I haven't had a decent contest in ages.
I don't plan on fighting.
I'm not asking you to point your spear at me. Could it be that the abominations here aren't enough to motivate you? The moon shines on the truth. Even after your rebirth, your moves and techniques haven't changed one bit.
When I move, it's like
you never forgot.
Surge. Rise!
A blade knows no mercy.
Nowhere to run.
Come on already. What took you so long this time?
Don't get anxious, Imbibiter Lunae. We have all the time in the world.
Something's not right. Don't think about running.
The moon shines on the truth. This spear still recognizes you as its master. Imbibiter Lunae, do you know who crafted it for you?
It's been with me ever since my exile. I don't remember when I started wielding it.
I will dispatch your end approaches.
Try harder.
Immortality means forever.
Awaken, dormant world-cleansing dragon.
That'll take...
Heavens, break! Failed to send you.
Secret of the saint.
Just a little something. Think nothing of it.
Unnecessary.
Nap time.
Blade of moonlight. In lunar flame. You can continue to convince yourself that you are merely the reincarnation of Don Feng and have nothing to do with his sins. And you can keep insisting that you have forgotten everything, but you cannot run from combat, Don Heng. Your spearmanship is identical to Imbibiter Lunae's. Combat is like smelting, purging the impurities with burning flames and exposing a person's true nature. Those are the words of the one who made Cloudpiercer for you. Do you remember? Out of all of us, you were the closest to him. It was strange, really, to see someone so arrogant get along with someone so proud.
This spear is sharp enough to pierce dragon scales. Be careful, High Elder, lest you hurt yourself with it.
Yingxing.
You still remember his name. When he was but a child, he swore to take revenge on the abominations. That's what drove him to travel across the stars to the Xianzhou to receive training. When I first met him, he wasn't even as tall as my sword. But he was boasting about mastering all the crafts of the Artisanship Commission by the time he was 100 years old. The little brat was no less arrogant than the High Elder. At first, I wasn't too fond of his defiant nature. But when we met again, he was able to craft weapons that astonished the master craftsman. He even snatched the Artisanship Commission title of Furnace Master. Unfortunately, the Alliance would never allow a short-life species to run the Artisanship Commission. He was only able to prove his worth alongside us outcasts in the end.
You didn't go easy just so I would get here first, did you?
Of course not. Your technique must have improved so much that I simply couldn't keep up with you.
So, are we here to commemorate your short-life species friend?
Eavesdropping is a bad habit. Besides, when did I ever say he was no longer in this world?
Even the cryocapsules wouldn't be able to extend the life expectancy of a short-life species for long. If he is still alive, he must be ancient.
He transformed into a long-life species?
Correct. Such are the twists of destiny. Some people are born with unparalleled foresight and exceptional intelligence, but make the most ill-advised choices at destiny's crossroads. As smart as he was, he made the foolish attempt to use the flesh of the Abundance Emanator to aid in Bibiter Lunae in resurrecting his deceased companion. His stupidity turned him into a monster, cursed with immortality. His soul was shattered and became the evil that he hated most. The irony.
For an old friend, you don't seem to have that much pity.
I gave him a second chance. Does that not count?
What did you do to him?
He should have been eternally jailed in the shackling prison for his crimes. But I gave him a different kind of freedom. I took the shell that once held his soul and passed my sword techniques on to him. I let him die 100 deaths to remind him of the karma of his previous life. Afterward, I heard he was reborn and even gave himself a name. We've idled too long. Let's head to the Alchemy Commission.